Hi all. Right, this is Obsession. I've done a playthrough of this before against I think it was it's the toughest of the normal play solo opponents, and it was a really tense game. I think I want to say I just lost by a point, wasn't it? It was like really close, and yeah. So I haven't played the game for a bit, and recently decided to break it out again, and had a couple of games and was really enjoying it, and thought maybe why not do a playthrough again, and also while playing uh, the new puppy, got our hands on this, and big shout out to Dan Halligan, the designer of the game. He's sending me a replacement tile for it. Yeah, it's not really usable anymore. So yeah, thanks for that, Dan. I will let you know and give you a shout out on BGG somewhere when it arrives, hopefully. But that was much appreciated. So yeah, so I thought, well, what we're going to do? I haven't played the upstairs downstairs. I just played it was just a basic game I played before. Now upstairs downstairs brings all the brings some extra servants, and mainly that's the main sort of addition to it, isn't it? Yeah, just wanted to grab some tweezers. I mean, not that you need tweezers in this game, but I just feel, I don't know, there's something about it. I feel like I need to have something in my hand. Just to point up, really. Yeah, these four at the bottom are the additional servants that you get in upstairs, downstairs, the expansion, and there's one extra family you get, isn't there? Which brings one of the brings a cook, doesn't it? Yeah, it means you start with a cook. That's the cook there. And maybe there's another couple of additions. I don't know. There's other cards get added, but you can play them with the base game. To be honest, the guests most of the guests you can play the base game, and I think there's some extra tiles come as well, and you can play them in the base game. There is one or two that you cannot because they're dedicated to using. I think it's the cook. It uses, is it renovated kitchen? Isn't it? Uses the cook. Anyway, so I thought I'd try that, and then at first I was just going to play the standard play, and then I watched back on Dan's playthrough, done a playthrough himself of the Tottenham solo, which was I think it's the toughest of the AI opponents on the standard play side, and I was going to have a go at that as well, just to see how I could compete with his playthrough. But these games are very different. The random side of things, and I know Dan recently done a video playthrough of what was it? It's on Board Game Arena, isn't it? And he's doing a playthrough of that, and he's discussing the strategies and that, and how to reduce, how he thinks the randomness can be sort of mitigated or put to your own sort of benefit rather than it being random. I haven't watched right through it yet, but some of the strategies that it goes into are really, really clever. And although he's talking about from a two-player game point of view, playing solo is a wee bit different. But some of the strategies he's talking about totally make sense. So I was taking some of them on board. I'm sure there's a lot of yous out there that can play these games, and once you play this game, it's quite addictive. So you can play it over and over again. I could see you starting to grasp some of the strategies, but it does have randomness. It's got card draws. You know, it's random, the cards that you draw. The guests that come along are random. When you're playing solo, this is a big bit. Well, let's look at victory point cards. Not so objectives. Quite, yeah. There's a randomness in them. What objectives that you get, but you get a fair selection of them, so you can, but the tiles that come out as well as kind of is where some randomness. Listen, I'm not knocking this. I don't mind randomness in games. I really don't. I'm fine with it. But a lot of people don't. And I think the biggest part of this, the solo side of it, is the courtship side. Because I just played a game recently and I got beat. In fact, the last 3 games I played of this, I've lost. Just to expert opponent. Sorry about that. There's a bit of glare from above, and that's that light. I think if I put that off, it's going to. You know what? It might not look so bad, but it's kind of dark in the room. So I think I might have to persevere with that on. It's lights down the middle of the room, and I'm at this other side of the table, so I'm catching them down the middle. Just in there, yeah. So anyway, yeah, the courtship cards, and yeah, and I just said the last 3 games I played, I lost. Expert solo opponents, because I feel like I played the beginner. I think I only played the beginner one once, and it was a bit easy for me. I grasped the game pretty quickly, and so I moved on to intermediate ones. I think I went through all of them, and then the expert ones. I wouldn't pick anything less than an expert opponent now. And then obviously you can progress to extended play, then bring upstairs, downstairs in, which makes the points even bigger that you've got to reach, because the servants that you can bring along, you can bring along a lot more servants and whatever. However, the last game I had, every one of the draws of the courtship really went badly against me, and I think it was one of the games where it went that bad against me that it probably did lose me the game. And I don't know. I'm right in thinking, Dan, if you're watching or anybody else can comment. I think I'm right in thinking that there's not an awful lot you can do that on the solo side of things, isn't there? You've got to have a closed courtship where you can't see it, or then it'd be too beneficial to yourself, because you would know what's coming up, and the AI, it would have to be a more detailed and AI to go about trying to stop you from obviously winning the courtship every turn. Yeah. So I think you've got to have that. I kind of wish there was a way around that. However, that last game I had it felt like a bit of a sort of like uncommon occurrence, but have I had games where it's went really lucky the other way? I've won all the courtships because of the courtship cards drawn. Possibly, it might well be that any games I've won by an awful lot of points, it might be that I've had the luck of that. So it's maybe a shame that there is nothing else that could be done with that, but I don't know what you could do. Maybe there's thoughts about how to deal with that or not. Because it's not about it's too easy, so I'm trying to make it harder, because I'm just telling you that I lost every courtship, and it's not I'm not saying it's too hard and I want to make it easier. It's to try and reduce the randomness of that. But how do you do that? I don't know. However, you know what? It's still a great game, and I've been enjoying playing it, and I don't mind losing these games. I don't mind that at all. I wouldn't like to cruise away and win a game easy. So, however, we've decided, we've gave ourselves the right challenge. Now, I've never tried this, so this is a first for me. This is the hardest AI opponent in the game. You can see the score that's required there. That's a base score. What is it? Is it the Lambton worm? I think. Yeah. It's difficult to actually read that. I had to go and look it up to find out what it actually was. Anyway, so this is, and you play this on extended play. It's got to be EP there, and obviously it's upstairs, downstairs. So you can't play against this in just the base game. You would never get anywhere near that score. So so this is our challenge. I've never played against it, so I'm going to try it. So yeah, let's get moving on a little bit. Now, I'm not going to go through, if some things come up, I'm not going to try and teach you the game or anything like that. I don't generally do that in my playthroughs. I just like to play the game, and yeah, if something comes up, I'll mention them and whatever. Hopefully, I'll play the game without any mistakes. However, like I say, I have been away for the game for quite some time, and I only come back recently, and I just played the normal game. So I'm hoping I'm not going to have difficulty with upstairs, downstairs side of it. I'm going to have the rules by my side, making sure that I know what these other servants can get up to, because they can do quite a lot. I'm going to play with the dynamic AI. I played with that the last couple of times. I think it's slightly better than the normal one. I'm not sure 100%, to be honest, but we'll go with that. Now, some of the other things I had thought there, I had a look at the variants, and had thought that I might introduce some of them. Sorry, let's get rid of that glare. That's going to be a pain, that. I'll try and avoid it, but the variants, like I say, I'd rewatched Dan's playthrough against the Tottenham Soul, and he played with the variant where you start with 3 from your random builder's market setup. You have 3 service tiles to start with, and that was quite nice. But I thought, well, yeah, should I do that? And I thought, no, I'm not going to bother. Another one he played with was a one where, I think it's Queen Victoria maybe, where every turn, is it every turn? Yeah, I think every turn that tile gets removed, and they rotate. So you lose the cheapest tile every turn. So it keeps things moving a bit quicker. So I'm not one that's big on variants unless they're really jumping out there. And maybe after I played this and got nowhere near that score, which I'm pretty sure is going to be the case, to be honest. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere near it, because watching some of his strategic thoughts on that recent video that he'd done made me think, wow, I never really thought about that. I didn't think about that. And, oh, that's a good idea. So I've not got all that ability in me, so we'll see. And so I'm going to stick with not any of the variants. So yeah, the one thing I wanted to do, and again, this was based really on his playthrough again of the Tottenham, and I noticed that there was some. Now I've not used these. These are the promo. Because a couple of these are just casual. I didn't know that. Oh, there's quite a few that are casual. Right, for some reason, my initial thought was that they were all prestige guests, but that's not the case. Okay, so these are all like really quite strong in a way. I mean, this is pretty impressive, isn't it? 300 prestige guests, two reputation. I mean, there's a couple of them, and there's some of these in the game, but some of them have got some different sort of actions that I'm not quite sure. I need to look up what that actually meant, to be honest. But anyway, there's quite a few, but I noticed 2 or 3 of them had came up in Dan's game, and I wondered, and I look in the rulebook. The rulebook says that you shouldn't really, when you're first playing, you shouldn't really introduce these at all. So I think, well, in actual fact, they were still in the wee packet that I got them. I only just opened them up recently. Apart from this one, and I just noticed this was in the deck itself. But there's a lady, Ethel Fairchild. So she's one of the Fairchilds that you're trying to court and bring along, and she's actually in the actual Prestige deck. Oh, that looks like that means look at the next courtship card. That's a guess, but I think that's maybe what that means, doesn't it? When you look at it. I would guess that probably is. But I noticed this was in the deck. I didn't actually realise, so I'm not sure. These were the 16 that came in the pack, and it does say within upstairs, downstairs you got these, and it does say there's 16. So this one must come from somewhere else. Might it be, I've got the useful box, the Wessex expansion, and the upstairs downstairs expansion. I don't have the promotional tiles expansion, so I don't have them, but I do have these, and I wanted to add some of these, and I didn't know if you'd add them all. Now, going the rule book, like I say, it says your first few games you probably shouldn't play with any of these, and you should just introduce some of them as your games go on. So I wasn't really sure how many, and then I watched Dan's playthrough, and like I say, 2 or 3 of them came up in his playthrough, and I thought, has he maybe just chucked them all in? I said, because I'm game for that, putting them all in, but I don't want to like overdo it and put all in, if that's going to spoil things. Because I mean, I do figure I need all the help I can get with that, but that doesn't, having all of these in doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easier for me, you know. Some of these are going to be restrictive of use, you know, because of reputation and whatever, and servants required and the like. That light's kind of annoying me. I don't know how bad it looks there even. Is it bright? I'm not so sure. Right, well, there's not a lot I can do about it. If it had been daylight, I would have been able to put it off, but I think if I put it off... Let me just see what it looks like. I'm trying to stretch over here. Yeah, it darkens the right side a bit, doesn't it? It's probably okay, but I can see there's deep shadows in there now as well, though. So I'm just going to leave it alone. So I actually posted a question. I was going to actually ask Dan himself about that within that playthrough if he added them all, but I added that in my post about what to do. Somebody came back and said that they every game they play, they randomly select 5 of these and put them in. So but just realising that now that some of them are prestige and some of them are just casual guests, I'm assuming he just randomises between 5 of them all. And then we've got this one in. So there's 16 here, and then I thought, well, maybe I'll put half of them in. But then that would be 8, and then you've got that one as well, so that's like 9, that's quite a lot. So I'm just going to have another peek to see if anybody else has come back, because I'd be curious to know what Dan's response is to this. If it's something that you don't want to do because it's going to make the game a bit more complex, I'm fine with that, but I'm not so sure that is the case. I think it's more about you're going to push the balance in too far in one direction if you added them all. I think it's maybe that. So I'm kind of delaying time before we start just to see if anybody else might come back with that. Okay, now I thought play Howard or Wessex because the Wessex allows you to start the game with either the breakfast room or the tennis court, which is pretty strong. And the Howard, which is Wessex was obviously in the Wessex expansion. Howard is in the upstairs downstairs expansion, and that allows you to start with a cook. So both of these are strong starts. Now you also get to select one of the special. Well, actually, no, it's any. You get to select any servant, don't you? One servant. You get to draft one, basically. If you were playing with multiple people, each person would be able to draft one servant. So, if you started with the cook here, I think if I used this, I'd start with the cook and maybe the useful man, so that that's a nice start. But obviously, if you're here, you're not starting with the cook, so would you maybe pick the cook or maybe pick the useful man? Like I say, I'm going to have to look over how they all work again. So I thought between one of these two, I suppose that the fact that this is upstairs, downstairs, I should kind of go with that one, shouldn't I? But I was just going to randomise between the two. Because I think this is strong to start with breakfast room or tennis court. Now they must be in the actual box for Wessex then, yeah. Yeah, they're in here. Let me see. So you get the choice either one then. There's the breakfast room. There's the tennis court. So yeah, starting with one of them 4 gentry, 2 gentry, get some money. That bumps over to a 3 as well. That bumps over to a 2, 4 gentry to kick it off. So, yeah, so that's pretty good too. So, like I say, I was going to roll a dice initially, but I'm starting to think, look, we're up against this AI opponent that is an upstairs, downstairs AI opponent, so maybe I should be sticking with Howard, shouldn't I? Because, yeah, because that's what... well, I don't know, maybe it's worthwhile looking at the actual starting, the season 1 scores there. You know, you're looking at, what is it, 3, 2, 5, -1 and 1. So what did I say about the breakfast? The breakfast room was only going to a 2, wasn't it? I'll just put them all away again. Tennis courts bumps to a 3, but it'd start as a -1, remember? And then the breakfast room bumps to a 2, and it starts as a 0. But you start with a private study as well. So yeah, and you get 1 extra round as well playing extended, don't you? So you get 1 extra round before the village fair. So that's another thing to think about. Yeah, so Wessex itself might be, and you're more than likely going to hire. I'm pretty sure you're going to hire once in the game. Sometimes you might hire a second time. Again, with the extended game, with the extra rounds that you've got, it's more likely that you might consider it. So, will I roll a dice or will I just stick with Howard? Yeah, I think I will stick with Howard now that I've, when you think about it, it is the one that came with upstairs, downstairs. So, but I dare say you could try with any of the other and any of the 4 base ones as well, and still give it a good shot, I guess. But I think slightly better off with this. So I'll start with that. So we'll get that set up. So I hadn't quite got. Well, obviously I wasn't sure which one I'm going to take. So I'm going to set that up first, and then we'll decide what we're going to do about this. Okay, there's the board setup. Although I was wondering, I noticed when Dan done his playthrough, I think this was from somebody else. Sorry, I've got that going the wrong way, haven't I? That just as for recording purposes, he set things up that way, so that your tiles are getting laid out there and they're not coming down towards, like, I've got my tripod right at the edge of the table here. I don't have an awful lot of table space here. I've got other things set up around about me. Why I've still got that set up, I don't know, but it's there. So just looking at that there, if I did have it that way, yeah, you can see I can still squeeze down to there. You know what? I'll try it like that. I'll try it, but you are going to get more tiles. Let us just. Look, there's the first one there. So if I just add a couple more, that's kind of like, that's only 3. Okay, I'm maybe not likely to get 3. Whereas if I'd done it the other way, yeah, you can see that's going to be easier to see all the tiles, isn't it? As for the cards, I'll just maybe put them across in that area, maybe. Right, so I think that probably is the better way to do it. Yeah, we'll go with that. I can go there and I can come up there and I can zoom in. And yeah, that'll be fine. Right, so the family, starting with family. The man of the house and the lady of the house. This is the Howard family. So we've got the 4 cards to start with. And they're just standard for every family, aren't they? Yeah, I'm just going to have to watch for that glare, sorry. Right, and my 2 starting guests are... I don't know yet. I have drawn them because I thought rather than although I've just realised that well, these are starter guests anyway. There wasn't any of them that were new promo, was there? I don't think so. No, there are some casual guests, but so we've got. Oh, he's pretty good actually, is he not? Oh no, he's not. Well, he's all right. Yeah, I'm not going to go through all the names and I know some people like that, and it is a very thematic game. I think I've maybe done it this way before, where I'm just going to look at the main parts. I'm not going to follow the flavour. I know maybe some of you like that, but I'll leave that to use like that sort. I'm not saying I don't like it. If I was playing it with people, I might get into the theme a bit more and enjoy the it's not a role playing type game, but just enjoy what's said about these people and what they get up to once they start doing the activities and whatever. And some of it can be, quite funny as well, how they go about things. Anyway, he requires a it's valet, isn't it? Is it valet or valet? Valet, I think we decided we were going to go for. I think it's debatable. And it's only for 2 reputation. And the other guy we get doesn't require service, is £100, so nothing starting on there. So that's our 2 starter guests. Right, now you're going to have to decide about these promo. I'm just going to have to make a decision, I think. Right, okay, I was just about to go with my own thinking, and Dan himself came back with a reply listing the ones that he always uses that are not really that broken, and if you turn up with them early on, they're not going to do great harm to the game. There's quite a lot though, and he's ended up listing it's 13 he would use, and me saying there was 16. You've also got the one that I found that must have came from, I guess it must have came from the useful box then. Or maybe the Wessex. However, there was also 3 of them that I had in the casual deck guest as well. So I think in total, actually, I'm looking over at my computer there. That's 7, 14. So there's actually 19 in total. And what Dan suggests is there was 7 casual guest ones that he put in, and actually I had 3 of them already in because I didn't actually realise. And then there's 6 that he would add to the. And he says he plays with them all the time. I think that's what he had said. He said that if he was in the mood for it, he would maybe add a couple of random ones beyond that as well. But I think I'll leave it at that. And just have the 7 extra casual and the 6 prestige guests. So that was a promotional side of things. And like I say, I don't have any of the promotional tiles. Unfortunately, I never go at that. So I can't add any of them. But I think maybe some of them were maybe added, possibly in that useful box as well. Maybe. But we'll see. Right, now one other thing. Actually, I should probably turn them that way. So, one other thing is, what do I do about my Gable Conservatory? Now, there's 2 of them in the game, so that one can't really go in the bag. I'm just going to use the bag this time. I think I was rolling dice the last time to try and avoid putting them in the bags to feel like they were getting a bit bashed, but as long as you don't shake the bag about too much, I think it's fine. I mean, I played the game quite a lot, and there's maybe a couple of dents here and there, but nothing major. Anyway, I can't put that in the bag. So, and when I was playing the normal game, I was using the renovated kitchen as a proxy for that. However, I need the renovated kitchen to be the renovated kitchen this time. So, hopefully I'll remember this. What I've done is I've put the Now, what is it? I maybe should I've written it down, and then that would have been easier. The sculpture garden, I've put the extra one that you get that's got the lower value in the bag as well. So if I draw that, that is the Gable Conservatory. Okay, so and who knows? I'm sure this Gable Conservatory is on its way across the pond as we speak. So it might I might even get it before we're finished with this. I would think so. Yeah, this is probably not going to be a short video. I guess it'll be in, the last one I done was in 4 parts. That was just, oh, was that extended as well? I think it was extended, yeah. So, well, I'd like to say maybe 4 parts, but yeah, you never know with that one. Right, okay, let's get moving, Grant. So I'm going to set up the builder's market, and like I say, I'm not going to use any of the variants there. I maybe should, because getting a couple of the service tiles, getting access to the service tiles at the beginning is probably quite a nice thing. Maybe should be doing that to give myself a wee bit of, but well, we'll see how it goes, and if I feel miserable at this, maybe I'll have another try in the future. I'm a bit concerned, like, because I think I'm not going to get anywhere near this, I don't think, unless I get rather lucky. So anyway, we'll see. Right, I'll get the tiles set up for the market, and we'll get started. So give me a sec. Okay, there we go. Well, that was interesting and a slightly worrying though, because I got a brushing room and I got a servant's quarters and the first 3 tiles that I drew, and I thought, well, this is almost like that variant already. However, I drew both. Assuming there's only 2 of each of them in the game. I might be wrong, but the worry is, I mean, this is really good, and well, I think this is really good as well. I like both of them, but I think it was a nice sort of selection of stuff I got the renovated kitchen as well, which is the one that benefits from the cook. And what do you know? We're playing the Her family. We've got the cook. So, and there's no shenanigans going on here. You won't catch me doing anything. If I'm doing something that's a mistake, you know, I'm not going to be doing anything dodgy. I like to play these games by the book. I want everything to go by the book, and it annoys me when I do make mistakes, and if I do make a mistake, I do try and fix it. But these were all randomly drawn, I can assure you. Okay, and then we've got the morning room, which I had in my last game actually, and that was quite decent. Hillside Kennels, and drawing room, so quite a nice selection there, I think. I mean, my way of thinking, like I say, my strategy in this game's going to be maybe different. Like I say, watching Dan playing that the last couple of days, going over some strategies was quite, I thought, okay, should I be trying to do this? Because I'm not going to make anywhere near a job of what he was during that game. You know, it was good though. Got some good tips, to be honest, and hopefully I can bring them into this game and try and use some of them. Yeah, and I meant to say, I'll not tell you the guests that he selected. Go and look at the post on BGG that I posted. It was titled Promo Guests, and he replies there, and he's got all the ones ticked that he always plays with, which was quite nice to see. So there you are. So I've just added them. I didn't add any other random ones. We went with that. Right. Okay, so shall we get started? What else do we need? We need something else, don't we? Yeah, objectives. We need objectives. Yeah, we're playing extended play. I think I made a mistake with this in the past, because the objective cards are slightly... Because you get 2 extra objective card draws, don't you? Let me find it first. Here we go. So page 3 of the rulebook. This is just the main rulebook. Page 3, extended play. Each player is dealt 4 objective cards, keeping them all Over the course of the game, players will acquire new objective cards and discard undesirable objective cards. Yeah, so in the normal game you start with 5. In the standard game you start with 5. And then you get one where you draw 2. Is that right? You draw 2 when it's objective card, isn't that? Yeah, so you draw 2. I think in the standard play there's an objective card draw round about here somewhere. But in the extended play, you get an objective card draw there and an objective card draw there. And obviously after every courtship, at the end of every courtship, you discard an objective card of your choice. And when you land it is 2 that you draw. So we start with 4. We're going to go down to 3 there. We're going to go back up to 5 there. We're going to go down to 4, down to 3 there, back up to 5, and finish with 4. Is that right then? So we have 4 at the end of the game. Whereas you only have 3 at the end of the normal game then. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's right, but I was looking at the end. I thought the end game scoring it might say something, but of course there's other ways of getting objective cards through certain guests. So it just says at end game scoring, it says example, this player finished with 3 objective cards. So it doesn't mention how many, because you couldn't. In fact, my last game I ended up finishing with 4, and it was just a standard game. So I've got to assume that's right. Let me just double check that again. So 4, we discard 1 there to 3. We draw 2 to go back to 5. We discard down to 4. We discard down to 3. We go up to 5 again. We discard to 4. So yeah, we must finish with 4 in the extended game then. I suppose it's longer. It gives you 1 extra card to try and work on. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Can we start, Grant? Yeah. Can we? Maybe get going. Okay. Well, what's your thinking? What's your strategy? What are you going to do? I don't know. Well. Right. No. We need objective cards. Sorry, that's what I was doing next. Right, give me a second. Right, I'll put these up here for now, but I might need to move them. It depends how far we come along the sporting improvements. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th one. And remember, these are, when you're playing upstairs, downstairs, you need to, there's a different set of objective cards. They've all got the U in the top right corner there. It's quite faint. You probably can't see it for upstairs, downstairs, because there's there's 3 extra ones that are relevant to the upstairs, downstairs stuff. Okay, so there's the 4 that we've got. So 3 valets required. Okay. Prestige, okay. So that's 1 victory point each for 2 basic servants. Butler, housekeeper, under butler do not count. Each 2 basic servants. Yeah, it's not brilliant, that one. Right, in the group bonus one, we've got a smoking room and drawing room. Well, there's the drawing room, so that one's quite a nice one to keep an eye on. But yeah, that's the only thing we can really take from that, really. I mean, yeah, we could hire 2 valets, and that would fix that one. So, but yeah, plenty of time to think about that. Okay. So looking back at the scores for the first season, because these are important, we've got to look at these. So they score 3 in essentials. Now, obviously the private study starts as a 3, so these are games. I believe these are games that have actually been played. I know Dan well, is that the case? Maybe not all. I don't know. I know Dan commented that I think the Tottenham one that he played, or whatever video I was watching, was a game that he had actually played. I mean, these are some big scores down the bottom for, in particular, Prestige and Estate. I mean, Sporting's kind of ridiculous as well, to be honest. And Essentials. Yeah. Yeah, and service. Right, okay, Grant. Yeah, they're all going to be tough to reach the final season. I'm not going to be winning in all of them. Like I say, we're looking for a little bit of luck when it comes down to what ones are going to come out. Anyway, we can only try and do our best. So, but it was interesting to see Dan's playthrough. I think this was the Tottenham one where I think Tottenham starts as a 0 with in essentials, and I think he chooses not to do the private study, not to do village fair planning, so that he's sitting at 3 points and he's going to win that one. So yeah, I mean all these things are things to think about. So, well, if we don't do the village fair planning, we're going to tie with that, unless of course we add to that. Looking up at the builders market, most of the essentials tiles, I think you need to flip to get the benefit of them. We do have the morning room up there though, which does flip. Sorry, I know you're not seeing that. It does flip to a 1, so that would maybe win us that one. As for this, the service, he's got a 2. Well, we've got access to both the brushing room and the servants' quarters, which is a 1, and obviously the butler's room itself. Well, we're going to hire, but I'm going to be doing because the last couple of games I played was not using this pass chart, because this is the pass that you're meant to use for upstairs, downstairs, and it gives you that really extra good benefit of when you're passing, you can still hire servants. You have to use the butler's room, but that's really good. I'm tempted to play that in my normal games as well, but I feel like it might be a bit giving you too much. But however, this is, I'm going to need everything I can get here. So well, you're meant to play with it when you're playing upstairs, downstairs. So that's that. So, and then the butler's room, does that not? I'm not going to say that. Nah, it's just a 1. Yeah, it flips to a 1 as well. So we added that and the brushing room or the servants' quarters, and we'd be at 2 with that. We do have that renovated kitchen there as well, which is the service tile, which flips into a 1 as well. But there's only so much you can do here. And then we moved on to estate. Well, there's no estate tiles in the market, and the best we can do is flipping the main gazebo into a 2. How we're going to end up getting 5, I think we should not bother about that one, certainly this season. However, if we turn any one of the 4 seasons we get estate, you can see that their final tally for estate's 26. That's a lot of points. And then the prestige one, they're sitting at -1. So if we were to do the front power there, we would be winning that one. So that's a good one to be able to do, and obviously a 1 there. And sporting, which is generally one of the first tiles that you might use, is a bowling green. That flips into a 2, so we'd be winning that one. So, and we get 3 rounds before the village fair. So, do we want to do the private study? I think the fact you get an extra village fair in the extended game, you get 1 here in round 4, round 9, and then round 16 you get an extra 1. I think that's pretty. Sorry, I know we're getting clear there again. That's probably quite tempting to do that, isn't it? Oh, okay, right. Well, I've no money to start with anyway, so I think first of all, I don't want to risk the AI taking, rolling and getting both these. I mean, the servants' quarters more important to me, I think. So I guess my target for round 1 is to get the servants' quarters. So I need £500. So I think that's what I want to try and achieve. Okay, right. Right, okay, and I forgot one other thing before setup, haven't I? I forgot to draft my extra servant. So hopefully I've done that in the right order. I'm not actually sure, if that should be somewhere else in the sequence of setting things up. If I'm meant to do that before the building the builder's market or not. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see if I've done it out of turn. I wouldn't have thought it does make that much of a difference, but it might be intended that you're not meant to see something before you do it. Give me a sec. Okay, so I'm just looking at, this is page 10 of the upstairs downstairs expansion, and it says player area setup with draft. To enable the new servant draft and the rest of player area setup using the upstairs downstairs servants, it's necessary to go briefly out of sequence and complete only the first step of the central play area setup on page 4 of the Obsession rulebook, which is normally done after player area setup on page 3. Okay, I don't think I've went out of turn there then. So it says begin setting up game by placing the supply board in the centre of the table, then populate the servants for hire area as follows. It's got one player, it's got one under butler, 4 footmen, 2 valets, 2 ladies maids, 1 cook, 1 hall boy, 1 head housemaid, and 1 useful man. Right, so I've got all that. And to be honest, the cook's not any use to me now anyway, because we start with the cook, and you can only have one of each of these. They term them short servants. And then, I maybe spoke this wrong, because I actually wasn't sure about this. It says preparation for the draft. Take one of each of the short servants: cook, hallboy, head, housemaid, useful man. Okay. No, it is there. It's cook, hallboy, head, housemaid, useful man, valet, lady's maid, and footman. So it's only the under butler that you can't get in this draft. And then you assign a first player. No, obviously then you go around the table picking one between the, could be 5 years playing. In fact, I think you can have a 6-player game now, can't you? So I think I just pick one now. And sorry, after setting them up, it then says player area setup now begins as detailed on page 3 of the Obsession rulebook with the following modifications, and then that's the draft bit is in that bit. So I think I should have done this before maybe building the market. So which okay, you can see that this popping up would have given me some information to say that, okay, let's grab the cook then, when I should have already done that. Fortunately, I'm going to get away with that because I start with the cook anyway. So hopefully there's nothing else, that information there that I've gathered that tells me what to, you know what, there could have been Well, you know what, I had my mindset that I was getting the useful man anyway, so whether you believe me or not. And hopefully there's nothing there that sort of says, I can see why you're taking the useful man because of this, that, and the next thing. Well, I can't even remember exactly what they do. He can do quite a lot, can't he? The useful man. You can use the private study at the beginning of village fair to increase the money favour by 200. And it doesn't have to be flipped over. So if you don't have it flipped over, you would get £200. If you did have it flipped over, you would get 500, and you would get the rep. Place the useful man on any tile in the builder's market for a discount of £100. Place the useful man on a tile in the organiser at the beginning of a turn to decrease the prestige rating of that tile by 1. Or remove the useful man from the game to refresh the builder's market. I won't be able to do that, I don't think. I mean, I suppose you could do it near the end if you were desperate. But I think the big one, and the one I noticed Dan used it for, is that last one, isn't it? Remove the useful man from the game to locate any tile, monuments excluded, okay, and place it in the 800 Yeah, I kind of thought that. Did you not cheat there, Dan? He just took it unless he paid for it. I'm sure when he'd done it, he put it right in his tableau, and then I thought, oh, that's pretty strong. To do this, the tile currently in the cheapest space, 300 space, is returned to the bag. The remaining 5 tiles are moved to the left, and the new tile is placed in the £800 space, where it can then be purchased normally. You know what? I might be calling you out wrong there, Dan, because you might have actually paid for it, and I've maybe just not been paying attention. But it's a good one to use, especially if you're like, looking for, a group bonus. Go search for it near the end of the game and getting some nice bunch of victory points. Obviously, you're going to have to make sure you've got the money to buy it. You're going to have to make sure you've got the 800 or obviously whatever the discounts or additions are to it. Okay, well, I don't think there was nothing that I read there that sort of says that because of the tiles that I've got out there or would make me pick the useful man. But that was my intention. I wanted to pick him anyway. Right, can we get the game started, Grant? 51 minutes. How about that? Right, I'm going to do something. Okay, so we know what we're trying to achieve. We're wanting... actually, I'm only going to need 400 because I'm going to use the useful man to make the servants' quarters £100 cheaper, which is one of his abilities, I think. So, but we do need some cash, so... Yeah, so we're going to do the bowling green. That's going to be our activity. Obviously, we don't need to rotate service, round track, checks, monument, service hall. There's none of that. So host activity, which is step 3. Sequence of play is there. It says order of play. I'm not going to. You can probably see it. I know I've got it turned round, but just to make things easier. Actually, it's something I want to adjust. Hang on. Right, so we're going to go to bowling green, and I'm definitely going to invite the lady of the house, and like I say, we only need 400, so I could invite him. I suppose we should take the extra money though, and we want to keep 2 family members for the possibility of doing the village fair. Which I think I do want to do. So if I take these 2, and then I'm going to use the cook. So it says place the cook on an activity tile to increase reputation by 1 taken during step 6, and to optionally permit guests with prestige ratings 1 to 2 levels above the family's reputation to attend. Well, we've not got any of them yet, so I think it's okay to use the cook now. So we put that on there, and and we don't need any. Hang on, we need a footman for the actual to host the activity. So that goes there. We need 2 gentry. We've got our 2 gentry. We're going to use the cook just to get a 1 reputation. Well, it's not a big boost, but why not? And like I say, she's not really got a use. She's going to come back, and we're going to get the servants' quarters tile anyway. So anything that's in here in the future we'll be able to use. Only 1 of them, admittedly, but yeah. So that's us provided service. So host activity, invited their guests, provided their service. Yeah, sorry that's not on the right way around, but it's just easier to do it this way. Enjoy favours, and you do it money, reputation, guests, and then if there's any, I think that's like any servants or that are coming along, or maybe, yeah. So we're going to get 300 for the actual bowling green. We're going for a game of bowls. £300 there. We're getting 200 from the man in the house, so we'll get a 500. And this is a, what is it? Screen 2 casual guests. So we draw 2 casual guests, and we're going to get to keep 1 and discard the other. So I'll get them. Okay, so here's our 2 casual guests. We've got Miss Caroline West, is it? Yeah, the italics in the writing can be a wee bit hard on my eyes, but and Honourable Anne Bennett. Okay, she's from the upstairs, downstairs. Well, that's quite an interesting one. That's exactly the same as what we just got. Ooh, that's pretty good then, isn't it? So we get to keep one of them. Well, we never got anything bad. We get to keep one and discard one. Yeah, I think this is better, isn't it? To be able to screen. They both require a lady's maid. This one's only given £100, which isn't terrible. Also, this is a victory. Well, the one downside is this: it needs 2 reputation to use. However, that's what the cook enables you to do, doesn't it? Optionally, it permits guests with prestige ratings 1 to 2 levels above the family's reputation to attend, which is pretty strong, like. So I'm going to keep this one and discard this one. I did kind of jump a step there, actually, because in the order it should be cash first, then reputation. And the reason I skipped it was I kind of forgot already that the cook does give me 1 reputation, so that'll go up to there. I did think about taking the stack of them away, and I think I will, actually. Right, just so you can see it a bit clearer at the back there, I've just set the other ones aside. So that's us jumped up 1 step. Reputation. We drew our guest from that. So that's everything complete. So we've got £500. Well, now we can buy from the market. Right, no brains here, just no brainer. We're going to put him there. Wait, let's just double check what that says again. Place the useful man on any tile in the builder's market for a discount of £100. The tile cannot be reduced to £0. Yeah, and you can also place the useful man on a tile in the organiser at the beginning of a turn to decrease the prestige rating of that tile by 1. In the that's in your organiser. Yeah, that's strong as well, isn't it? Right, okay, so I'm going to get so it would normally be 500, 400 plus the plus 100. But we're putting the useful man there as well, so we get a discount £100. We're going to take one of these, and that's going to go here. And now servants' quarters, may deploy 1 servant from the servants' quarters each turn. So a really good one to get as early as possible. So quite lucky with that. But I think that's one of the tiles you would get if you played that variant. So, but I wasn't playing with that, so we might have ended up with something totally different. Okay, so we bought from the market. There's nothing to refresh because there was a duplicate tile there. And now we can just clean things up. Okay, so this goes expended, as does the cook. I could probably just do this and pause this, and the useful man. So they're all expended. These go away. A discard pile, which I'm going to have to create somewhere. I'll just put it on my other game there, on my map. And this now becomes flipped from a -3 over a 2. So, yeah, there's the added benefit to that was that remember that the AI has got, what's it? It's only a 1, isn't it, for sporting? Sorry, I'm going to find it difficult to move things about here and also try to avoid that glare. So yeah, so a 1. So we are winning in sporting. So yeah, that's pretty good. So that's us cleared the board. So now it's the AI, isn't it? Yeah. So going to roll a dice and try and avoid that glare. Right, so we're using the dynamic AI. I don't know if this is, like I say, I don't know if this makes things easier or harder or what, to be honest. I looked at them both and thought, they're different. This seems to more target, because you've got a value tile sort of selection here. The first 2 don't count. I was looking that up again yesterday. Courtship Monument. This is only if you roll, but if you roll a 1 to 8, you get value tile, so then you come across here. and go down that until you find the first one. And it says you always take the least expensive one. But Courtship Monument and Courtship Tile don't count in the solo game, because I think what that means is if you've got the courtship revealed, and some of the other, I think the standard game has the first courtship revealed, doesn't it? There's different variations to how you play it. You can keep it closed or keep it open. You would know what it was. But how does that come in if it's an AI though? Yeah, because you're not going to be doing that, are you? Right. I'm not sure then. I know it was. I went and looked it up to make sure that there wasn't, because I think some people were wondering. Well, once the first courtships come up, you've still got to consider that, because the final season, the courtship counts them all. So does that come into it there? So, but apparently not. Apparently you ignore the first two if it's a closed courtship. I don't know, maybe with it, you can't play an open course. Oh, okay. Right. Well, I was ignoring that. Tell me if I've got something wrong with that then. Maybe that's why. Maybe it is easier with the other one then. Maybe, do you think that's better? Well, I don't think so, because if you get a 1 to 8, just ignore the 2, and then you pick a monument if there's one there, and then after that you pick prestige tile, estate tile, and so forth, so on. And then you've also got all the positions here. So I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going to roll. I'll just roll off camera and tell you what I've got. Right. So I've rolled a 3. So that is 1 to 8. So it's looking for a value tile. We've already said the first 2 don't count. So the next one's monument tile. We don't have a monument. It's going to get the drawing room, isn't it? Damn. Yeah, that's not what I wanted. So it's going to pick the prestige tile that's in the builder's market. So the drawing room is away. I guess I think there's 2 most of these tiles, isn't there? Whether there's 2 of them all or not, that sounds like. Well, I think it was. I mean, the big cabinet of curiosities. One of my recent games of that, there was 2 of them turned up. So maybe that is the case. So that was kind of bad start to the scavenging done by the AI, wasn't it? Here was us diving in to get that servants' quarters, worrying about that going away. But then there's no way I could have afforded. Well, no, I don't think I could have. Well, actually, maybe I could have. 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I think I would have been 100 short. So, yeah. Right, so let's get a replacement for that. We get a cricket field, which is 5 reputation to use it. So, I'll not be rushing to get that. There's not a real urgency for that anyway. Okay, and that's the turn over, so we can move on to turn 2. And I'll hopefully get another couple of turns in here, and then maybe cut this, because it is over an hour now. Okay, and one of the good things about, and maybe what you want to do quite early in the game, is actually pass. You could pass quite early because of the ability, you're getting the ability to hire. And you've got to also be careful about using your butler like right now if you're wanting to hire when you pass. But having the servants' quarters is going to make that less risky as well. It's just such a good tile, that, isn't it? I think Dan says that's his favourite tile in the game, and you can see why. It doesn't sound amazing because of what you're getting, but it really does help. Okay, moving on. Turn 2. Right, we're going to rotate service. We're not going to pass. I don't believe. If we are, I don't think there's any harm in me doing that, rotating service, and then suddenly say, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to pass. Because in passing, you actually refresh all the service. So I would then just push it into there. So I think I could sort of have a moment to think and sort of change my mind and say, right, I'm going to actually pass instead of just carrying on. Right, the round track's got nothing on it. We don't have monuments, servants' hall, etc. So we're going to host an activity. So, what are we going to do now? So we've got 2 more turns to try the private study. Now, the private study does require the butler. So, but again, like I say, we can always grab the butler from the servants' quarters if need be. So it's not really, it's just that if you didn't have the servants' quarters, you're going to have to be careful because the butler required there and the butler required there. And if you end up with it in there, you're like, oh, can't do that. So, okay, let me just pause and think. That's what I should be trying to do more because, yeah. A lot of AP sets in with me in these games. That's why I play these games solo. It's just so I'm not bothering anybody else. And obviously, you might say, "Well, it's bothering me." What you just don't watch it. I'm sure some people start watching my videos. They switch off pretty quickly and saying, "Nah, not for me." But it's not everybody's cup of tea. Yeah. I mainly do these games for my own enjoyment. If anybody gets anything out of them, that's even better as well. But it's mainly just for my own enjoyment, actually. And I find I concentrate more on the game when I press record as well. And let's get it paused for the moment, Grant, and think about what you're going to do. Yeah, one little thing there I remembered from watching some of Dan's thinking, and I'm sure a lot of the rest of you as well, is about increasing your reputation early in the game. Because if you're sitting at just one reputation on step 1, so 1.1 reputation, you can't get any lower than that. And there's certain guests in the game, American heiresses, and a couple of other guests that they give you negative reputation up to -3. I think there's one that gives you -4 reputation, but they also give you a big chunk of money, like £700-800. I think there's maybe one that goes even to £900. And if you're sitting there, you can't go any lower. So, ideal time to get that and play it. And these are casual guests. I think they're all casual guests that do that, aren't they? Yeah. So they're casual guests. So you are going to be able to play them their way, and benefit from a nice chunk of money. And that's generally what I think a lot of people probably start with the Lady of the House to go and screen 2 casual guests in the hope that you're maybe finding one of them. Now, I know I boosted my rep by 1 there, but that was only with the use of the cook anyway, and I don't see the negative factor in doing that. Yeah, if we then drew American Heiress and wanted to play it now, we would lose that 1 reputation that we just got, but, well, we didn't, so there's that. But it's, ooh, yeah. Yeah, which one is it? Is it the cook? No, it's a useful man, isn't it? No, it's a cook. To optionally permit guests with prestige ratings 1 to 2 levels above the family's reputation to attend. Yeah, so looking at this guest that we just drew, who's got a reputation of 2, I generally leave them just slightly lower just to remind me, which I didn't do there, that I don't have the reputation for that. However, that cook could allow me to do that. Now, I've got to be careful though, because the footman is used in a lot of the activities, so I'm able to get him, but I can only get 1 out of the servants' quarters. Yeah, it's just the search for another casual guest once more before I start hitting, deciding just to move on with the rep. But this would have been a good one to use to do it, but it's given me rep. So yes, and obviously the village fair plannings. Right, think, Grant, think. Yeah, some of you might have noticed the problem with using that. It's 2 ladies. I know you're not going to see everything on at the one time, but I only have 2 ladies, and one of them's a family member, and that's why. See, that was a mistake already. Then I should have realised that the possibility of needing 2 ladies for the front parlour. Now, I could have used this guy for the £100 instead of the main man of the house, and I would have had him still available, and then I could use the 2 ladies and still have the 2 family members, and I would have still had the money. I mean, I've got 1 extra £100, but I just wouldn't have had any money. So there you go. It's really easy to make these little blunders that you realise afterwards, and it's what makes the game good, though. I think that I seen Dan himself even. I think it was the first play of the game where he kept. I guess he got really a hard choice, so there were really two really good guesses, and I think he ended up kicking himself a little bit. Maybe just because how the game progressed, though. They were both good choices, and he took one over the other, and I think he regretted it. But there you go. Yeah, should have done that. You see, damn. Yeah. So the dilemma now, and in general, you don't want to use these tiles more than once. Once you've used it, you don't want to go back and use it again. It feels like a bit of a waste, because you're not gaining victory points, because it doesn't flip over again or gain you anymore. Well, it would give me £200, yeah. So you don't want to do that really. If sometimes you might have to do it, but so we know we want to do this when we're passing. I think I've decided I want to do this. The fact you're getting 3 village fairs in the whole game, and you've got that useful man to I would want to be doing that now then. No, that's fine, I can do that. That doesn't happen till the village fair anyway. Yeah, okay. That's fine. Because this is the only other way of maybe bringing along that guest, but I need the cook to reduce the reputation, and I need the footman to actually host the activity, yeah. Or to be the servant for the activity. So I can't use both of these. So that's why I'm thinking do my private study now, and then these will rotate, and then I'll be able to do the main gazebo the next time. And we can bring this lady and one of these gentlemen along. And then probably I would pass in the village fair turn. Think that something like that. Right, well, make your mind up, Grant. What? I think so, because I could do this just now, but I wouldn't be able to bring that lady with the 2 reputation. And remember, she needs a lady's maid as well. It's just to get the screening of the guest, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the village fair planning now, I think. Well, I do. While I'm doing this, I reserve the right to change my mind, just in case. As long as there's no new information, I'm always okay about rewinding things. I'm not that strict about my games. Okay, so 2 family members, and we need the butler. So let's get the 2 the young gentleman and the young lady of the house. Along. We need 2 family members. We need the butler. Oops, the butler's on the floor. A second. Right, so we get the butler. Now we could again add the cook here for the rep. Do you want to do that? Or not? Well, we're only going to get £100. Well, actually, you could get the brushing room. Oh. Yeah. Because then we're going to be winning in service as well. Because they've got a service count of... Maybe just see it. They've got a service count of 2, whereas ourselves, well, we're sitting at 1 just now, but we're going to hire, so that's going to flip to a 1 as well. And if we took the brushing room, which is only £100, oops, and it's not bad as well. There's nothing else we're going to be able to afford, so it's yeah, pretty cheap. Okay, so right, give me a sec. This is where you need to be careful though, because I'm talking about using the cook here again to give myself one extra rep for doing this, which I can do, and then the cook's going to end up back in here. And we want the cook next time to do the main gazebo. We want the footman. Well, the footman will be in here. And the only other thing we need is, well, we might need one of each of these. So that's fine. And then we pass on the village fair and the butler's back in operation. So I think that's okay. Hang on though, what about the useful man? We want him for the village fair as well. But yeah, it can't reduce the price to 0, didn't it? It said that. Place the useful man on any tile in the builder's market for a discount of £100. The tile cannot be reduced to £0. Yeah. So yeah, we don't have a use for him there because this is £100, so we can't reduce it anymore. So we're not going to use the useful man here anyway. Well, you can only use one anyway, Grant. You're going to use the cook then? Yeah, I think so. I can see myself making blunders with this and regretting it. Right, okay, so I'm going to use the cook, and we can bring her from the servants' quarters because we've got the servants' quarters. And so that gives me one extra rep. Right, so we've provided our service. Is that right? Yeah. We're going to gain our... we're going to enjoy our favours. So, is it £100 or 1 rep, Grant? And this only brings a casual guest. The bonus is only if she's accompanied with a male prestige guest, which will not go any yet. So £100 or 1 rep. We're going to get 1 rep here. The worry is that you end up with American Airways and you're like, oh, I want to use it now and I've lost all that rep. So maybe more tempting to take the £100 just now where I'm sitting. I mean, okay, this is rep that I'm getting that might go away, but it's not that I'm not needing the cook for anything else. Well, I hope not. Like I say, I'll make a blunder with it at some point and then realise, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Right, okay, so I think I'll take the £100. What we're doing, the village fair planning thing. So I'll take the £100. So that's me got 200. And reputation, we get 1 rep for the cook. So it puts us up to 1.3. And we get 1 casual guess, which isn't screened. We're just drawing this and hope for the best. Theodore... I'm having to look down here to find his name. Sometimes I look there to see if it's got it. Marshfield. Theodore Marshfield, Esquire. I mean, I like to look at it, don't get me wrong. It looks nice. It's just my eyes struggle a little to get it. He's okay. Needs the valet. But £200. Yeah, he's okay. And that is us drew 3... gentlemen though. 2 starting guests were gentlemen. That's 3 gentlemen we've drawn over and above our family and 1 lady. So you need to keep that in mind. The fact that he requires a valet too is also going to help because we're going to buy the brushing room, I think. Right, so that was our guest, the rep. We've done everything there. Yeah, so purchase. So yeah, I think we will. I've got £200. There's nothing else I can buy anyway. So I'm going to buy the brushing room for 100. And like I say, the added bonus to that is that we are going to be winning in service once we do the butler's room. Yeah, because we're going to do that in the village fair round, I think. Right, so we'll purchase. There's nothing. We don't need to refresh the market restock the market or whatever you put it, because again it was a duplicate. And that's it, right? Service, clean up, so that they go away. These go into the discard. So basically we've used our 4 family members, haven't we? Yeah. And then this flips. Unfortunately it flips into a 0, but as you can see, so future village fairs produce £300 and 2 rep. Well, there's 3 of them throughout the game, so that's £900 and 6 reputation. So not to be sniffed at. And if you get the useful man in there, it adds another £200 when you do it. So hopefully I'll time that right and get that right. Okay, that's it. AI. Isn't it? What the title? Yeah. Clear the board. Yeah, over the AI. Right, roll the dice, see what we got. I'll just do it off camera. 13. 13, what we got? That'll just be a position, I think. That's as far as I'm getting. 13. Where are we? 12 to 13. Position 2. Well, there's the servants' quarters going this time then. We that's what we wanted last time, because we had already bought it. So this gets removed from the game. However, we don't mind. We've got one now, and these all shimmy down. We've got a replacement for the £800 slot. And we get the Cabinet of Curiosities, which I was just talking about recently. Again, though, 5 reputation, but I mean, we're expecting to get up to the max reputation in this game. I'm planning to get up right up. Now, there's 1 extra level on the extended game, isn't there? I think you go up to, is it 7 or 8? Can't remember. Well, there's an extra rep level. Yeah, so there's an extra 2 levels in. So the max must normally be 7, but it's 9. Yeah, so there's 2 extra levels to go up to max. But I think everything in the... Well, I noticed one of the promo guests had a rep level of 7. But I think in the base game side of things, everything's... I want to say just goes up to 6, so don't know if there's more than that are at 7. Anyway, right, okay, moving on. Yeah, round 3. Oh, we keep going. Hour and 22 minutes. I want to keep playing actually. Yeah, we'll keep it going. I'll maybe get a quickish turn. Yeah, right. And so we've still got 4 guests left. We know we're going to pass. Right, what was the plan again then? I think the plan was the main gazebo this turn, wasn't it? This is turn 3. Yeah, well, let me rotate my service first. Like I say, I think if I do this and suddenly say, oh, I've changed my mind, I want to refresh, I want to pass. The first step in passing is to refresh all your service. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, refresh service, reclaim deck, and then so on. So, and then round chat, monument, service hall, chat, right, and then host activity. Okay, so what are we going to do? Right, let me pause and think. Yeah. Okay, so we did draw another guest that last time. It turned out to be a gentleman, because I suppose there would have been a chance of still being able to do this if we'd drawn a lady. So that wasn't the case. So I mean, we've done with this tile. We've used the bowling green, so we're looking at these 2. Remember, the service tiles, most of them, although I know we've got one there, obviously, the renovated kitchen. Plus 300, that's expensive, eh? It must be really good. I've not read what that does. Guess of any prestige rating may attend. Oh, okay. Well, that is good. And what is the... And then activities using the cook may add 1 guest beyond the guest count. Activities using the cook. So even if she's used as the reputation bump, I'm assuming so. I might need to check that one, but Yeah, sounds good, but you can see it's £700. So, okay. But yeah, that is one that flips. But generally, I think most of the service tiles don't actually flip. They just sit and do their thing. Obviously, that's going to flip. That's going to give us a 3 points there. So we're actually sitting. Okay, we're losing this. We're winning here. We're losing here. We're losing here. That's the thing. We could be winning here if we had done that, but we are winning here. Yeah, that's a bit annoying. If I'd drawn a lady, I think I would have went for that. However, again, we're using that lady to do the screen and draw, and if we draw a heiress, we're like, do we? I don't know. Do we really want to waste that 3 rep? Well, I've not got a choice. I've got to do the main gazebo then, haven't I? Yeah, I think so. I could get £200. I could have £300. That's when the morning room's going to be an option then. Because it's 400, we could use the useful man to make that slightly cheaper. Then we would have the useful man. We want the useful man to be able to use next turn. So we just need to make sure that that's all we need. Well, you know what? I can decide that once I come to buy. So let's get the activity worked out. So yeah, it is going to be the main gazebo. Yeah, it's the only other. Yeah, okay. I'm going to do that. So we're going to host this. We need 2 gentry. So I'm going to use. Oh, it's and. I didn't read that right. It does both. So place the cook on an activity tile to increase reputation by 1, and to optionally permit guests with prestige ratings 1 to 2 levels above the family's reputation to attend. Right, so it does both. That's good. Okay. Right, so we're going to bring. Well, I think we need to do it now actually. So we're going to use a cook from servants' quarters. So that enables us to bring this guest along. We're going to have this lady, what is it? Honourable Anne Bennett. And like I say, she's got 2 reputation. Her reputation is only 1, but because we're bringing the cook along, we get to do that. So we need 1 other gentry. We also need the. Well, I think the thing is you're supposed to. It doesn't matter though, does it? I mean, it does. In the order it is host activity, invite guests. So then you place your guest, then you provide service. But I think she needs to be there before we can invite as guests in some terms. So I've put him there as well. So we've got the choice of £200, £100, or 2 reputation. Well, I'm better not going for the reputation, just in case we do happen to get somebody that we want to use to strip our reputation away. So I guess we want the bigger money then. So we probably want this guy. Means we're going to be using a lady's maid and a valet. But next turn we're just needing the butler and the useful man, I think. Yeah, so that looks good. That looks fine. Right, so we've provided service. Enjoy our favours, we're going to get £200. So that puts us up to 300. Hang on. Yeah, I was talking about the possibility of using the useful man, wasn't I? I think it's okay. I keep worrying about the cook and the useful man both being in there, or even maybe you can get caught out with a footman, because the valet footmen on staff now trained to serve as valets, but it's not the other way about. So although this footman can be green, the green can't be white. So, yeah. Right, I've not provided all my service. Sorry, my bad. So we need a valet there and a lady's maid here. And, yeah. So I've got my 200 from him. 200 favour from him. Now we've got screen 2 casual guests. So, yeah, let me do that. One, oh, there's a bad one. Oh, they're both bad. Oh, okay, let me see. What did they do? Oh, they're both really bad, aren't they? Yuck. No, that wasn't good. An adventurous and a gossip. I mean, he's slightly better in the fact that he's only -1 victory point. She's -2, but she doesn't require any service where he does. Yeah. I think the fact we've got more men than women, I think I'll take the lady. I'll discard him. And hopefully we can get rid of her before the end of the game and avoid that -2. That's like -1. -1 rep as well, and just for a casual guess, yeah, it's not good. Okay, I'll discard this other one and we'll get sorted out here. Okay, and oh yeah, we've got a prestige guest, forgot. So for the actual activity, we get to draw a prestige guest. So here's hoping we get something good here. Well, they can't be bad, these, but they can be pretty good. Oh, it's one of the promotion cards. So she's only a 3 reputation, so that's good. Only requires a lady's maid. It's only 2 reps she's given, but what's that? Add any male guest. Okay. Lady Mary, renowned for her beauty as a favourite of gentlemen throughout Derbyshire. Add any male guest. Are we restricted by reputation there? I guess we must be. Yeah, I would think we must be. But that could be good. So she comes along to satisfy the requirement for herself, and we get to add a male guest. Yeah, I might just want to be double checking that. Could be good. Could be good. It's not, maybe not the best, but only a rep of 3. So once, in fact, we can use her now, can't we, with the cook? Yeah. Okay. Right, that's everything. Now, are we buying? Well, 300. Yeah, well, if we our option is the morning room, because with the reduction, the renovated kitchens out of sight, isn't it? 700. Yeah, so the only option is the morning room, and we need to use a useful man for that to give us a discount. It's pretty good though. I mean, add 1, 2, or 3 gentry. Only flips to a 1, doesn't it? Yeah. It doesn't do an awful lot. I mean, it is just a level 1 tile, but the option of 1, 2, or 3 gentry could be quite cool, I think. We'll start getting us moving a little bit on essentials, but not by an awful lot. Should I save my money, maybe? Well, next turn we pass, don't we? And then we go into courtship. And we're sitting winning 2 out of the 5. I think we're losing the other 3 though, aren't we? Yeah, we are. Again, that's just the bit I think that... And don't get me wrong, I said in that last game that it probably lost me the game, because I lost every courtship. Every one. And even the last courtship, I had built up quite a lot of points in the other you know, in the other courtship that were there, the other three that were there, I'd built up a lot of points, and I said, as long as I don't draw, I think it was prestige or something, as long as I don't draw prestige, I think I've got a good chance of still winning this. And what did I draw, of course? You know, so every one of them went against me. Yeah, maybe it's the first time I've seen that, though. That, like I say, I've not seen it quite as brutal in that. And it was still, I mean, I got beat, but I wasn't I did get pretty well beat, but it wasn't really close, but I wasn't still that far away. Yeah. So, what are we thinking then, Grant? Are we wanting the morning room or not? Sorry, I got kind of sidetracked there, didn't I? Yeah, I'm still not sure. Maybe I should keep my money, because we know what we're doing. Next time we're hiring, then we've got a courtship. Again, that just it might work. We might get lucky and we might get service. We're looking for sporting or service. Next turn after that, probably starting to build up our prestige, our reputation, and do the front parlour. But there's no other tiles out there that were really. I mean, I do like the idea of that renovated kitchen in that way. But yeah, so that would go in the service, wouldn't it? After season 1, move all service tiles. So then it sits there and it's safe. It can't go away. It's still going to be £600, but it seems like quite a good tile to get. And plus, like I say, this flip to it is just a 1, isn't it? Yeah. But then we'd be sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4 for service, and they max out at 5. So, just so we could pick up. What is the one? The barn, I think, gives you 2, doesn't it? Right, come on, Grant, make your mind up. Right, just so I remember, we are going to have, if we do this, I'm going to have the useful man and the cook and the servants' quarters, along with the other 3 as well. We're going into the village fair. We need the useful man to get the bonus and the money. And we need the butler, but he'll have moved. So that is okay. And then we go into courtship anyway. Yeah. Oh no, hold on, Grant. Yeah, because we're passing. Yeah, the only thing I'm not going to be able to do is use the cook in the butler's room. I'm assuming you can still do that to get 1 rep. Okay. And I think the fact we're going to get £500 for the village fair. Yeah, okay, I'm going to do it then. So I'm going to use the useful man to buy in the morning room, or to give the discount of £100. So should be 400, cutting it down to 300. We've just got 300, and we're going to take that. I'll just put him in expended service now. So then these move down, and we draw something else out the bag, and we get the butler's pantry, which is pretty good actually, because we're coming up to the end of season 1. So if it survives, that wouldn't be too shabby to buy out the reserve at £400 and get an under butler. I think that would be pretty decent, but we'll see. Okay, so we've bought, and now, yeah, so we're going to tidy things up. I already put useful man in here. So hang on. Did you get your rep? I got the money, got my guests. I think I got the rep, didn't I? Because I've only got 2 rep. Oh, maybe I didn't. Have I not used the cook every time? Ah, damn. I've not played any guests that give rep, have I? The young man of the house we use for money. No. So my rep gain has only been from the cook. Yeah, because no tiles have give rep. But I have hosted 1, 2, and this is my third activity. Not sure I had the cook on every one of them though. I think, did I not miss one? You know what, I can't remember. Well, I'm probably going to wrap this one up after this turn anyway. So I'll leave it sitting at 1.3 rep. And if I have missed that rep, which you will probably see that and know now, but once I look back in the video, if I have missed it, I'll bump it up to there. Okay, so yeah, everybody, all these expended. So we've got quite a crowd in it expended now. That and that. And just the butler and the servants' quarters. These go away, discard, and this gets flipped into a 2, which doesn't help us, does it? Well, they're on 5, so it's not that we're gonna do anything about that. Okay, yeah, so roll for the AI. See what it's gonna do. Just get that glare in there, don't know. The lamp's right here, so it's... Right, let's see what we got. I've got 13. Rolled that the last time. Position 2. No! Oh, there goes the kitchen. I was almost safe into the reserve. Well, actually, we had another roll to come, didn't we? So this comes down, and we'll get something else in the £800 slot, and we get an English garden. So quite good for estate points, I would think. Probably flips into something, maybe a 4. That's a 5 even. 3 ladies. This is a good screen a prestige guest, isn't it? That's nice actually, but yeah, need it a little cheap. We're still sitting with no money. Well, we're about to get a bunch of money, so right. Okay, I'm gonna stop for now. That's 40. What I do is I move the round marker on to the village fair, so the next round anyway. So I've done that. I've moved that to there. That's just how I get in the habit of, when I'm pausing the game, I'm going away, I'm going to do something else or whatever. So I just leave it at that, and then that's us sitting waiting to do step 1, which is going to be rotate service or to pass, which is I think what I'm going to do, isn't it? That was the plan. I'm going to pass, and have I messed up? No, the butler's going to be in there. That's fine. Because I need the butler and the useful man, don't I? Right, okay. It should all go to plan. Right, okay. Well, you can see, yeah, that's an hour and 40 odd minutes. But I did eventually got through 3 rounds. So what is there? There's 20 rounds in total. So, yeah, and a lot of the stuff at the beginning was just set up and talking about stuff and things like that. So yeah, I might still be able to hold it to 4 parts. I would say between 4 and 6 if it get depending on how things go. Right, okay, I'll be back. Well, I'll probably be back in a bit, because I'm just going to copy this bit across and just double check that reputation from the cook and see if we missed out. And yeah, so I'll probably come back and do another couple of rounds. Okay, but I'll be back shortly. Cheers.